years, quite a few number of years. I was the reading and language coordinator in a public school system near here. I taught middle school and upper grades for many, many years. I have been the assistant principal here at St. James for a number of years, and I'm now retired. But it's always nice to be back to St. James. It's the place that I want to be, and it's the place I know that your children will grow in love and in academic success. That we're all on a journey here tonight, and this journey is we're beginning the first steps of our journey into education. Research tells us that learning happens when we connect new knowledge to something that we already know. Did you know that? We learn best, we learn most deeply, and we can internalize our learning when we connect it to something we already know. That is so, so important to children who are 3 and 4 years old, because you become the partners in this education. We at St. James Preschool can do a lot of things for your children, with your children, and we will. But unless they have the knowledge that connects at home with what they're learning here, that learning won't be as deeply sustained as it could be. So your job as our partner is just the utmost. So we know that you're going to be very busy with us too. Tonight we're going to talk about 3 areas of partnership. The first area is going to be the spiritual partnership, and Julie talked about that just a little bit earlier. The second is that independence that we want our children to learn, and the third is the academic piece. And so we're going to talk about that right now. First of all, I've got the question now for our first 2 volunteers, and your name is?
Peter.
Peter, and you've got a child in?
PreK 4.
PreK 4, so you've been here for 8
And
years.
2 kindergartners.
And 2 kindergartners. Well, and you? Julianne.
PreK 4.
PreK 4. So, these people have been here. Okay, so here it goes. Now remember, we're talking about being partners in education, okay? So, this is our spiritual partnership. St. James, you're going to tell me if this is true or false. Hold this up for everybody to see. Number 1, St. James Parish is beginning a new Liturgy of the Word program every week at the 10 o'clock Mass. Your child can join friends to hear the Sunday Gospel in language and in doing activities that they can understand. You can go to Mass as a family, be reunited after the homily, and better experience Sunday Mass together. Is that true or false? Well, the reason,
Sorry to say that.
That's okay. But the answer is true. The answer is true. That program is starting at St. James. And the reason that you didn't know is because it's brand new. We haven't started it yet. It's going to be starting in September. So it's brand new. And so when we talk to your children in our preschools about their prayers, about Bible stories, when we talk to them about Catholic traditions, when we tell them the Christmas and the Easter story, all of those traditions and stories and Bible stories are all a part of what they will be learning. But the way they're going to learn it best is to connect it to what you do with them at home. And some of the best things you can do with them at home is to say their nightly prayers together. They will have prayers at school that they say. Saying prayers every night will help deepen that relationship that they're going to be learning to have with Jesus as their friend. Another thing that we can do, of course, is go to Sunday Mass together. It's something we're going to be stressing this year. And remember, sometimes when you go to Sunday Mass, you think, oh, when I take that group of my kids all together to Sunday Mass, I'm irritating the ladies next to me and the men behind me and God only knows whom else. But this is a perfect opportunity for you to take the children, because ages 3 through 6 will be able to leave you after starting Mass together, listen to the Gospel according to what they can understand, and then come back to you for the Liturgy of the Eucharist. So it'll be a wonderful experience. It'll be something that will deepen their faith, and believe me, if you go to church with your children, it all can deepen theirs. So think about it. Think about coming to church each Sunday. That 10 o'clock Mass is terrific. All right. Now, that's the spiritual mutual partnership that we can have and that your children can grow in. The next one I want to talk about is something of the academic partners, the independent partnership that the school and parents can create. And so I'm going to give our next contestants the true and false. There we go. Now, at school, when it comes to teaching children independence, what are some of the things that we do at St. James, and preschools all over the country do it too? We will make sure that your children learn that they can come into school on their own with happy, smiling faces, that they can go to their classrooms with their teacher or teacher's aide, that once they get into their classroom, they know the schema. They know that they take off their coats and put them in their cubby, that they undo their book bag and make sure that anything that's in it is shared with the teacher. They know that usually at the very beginning of class there is time for them to choose a toy and to play. They know that they can greet their teachers and say hello. They know that it's time to listen when the teacher says it's time to clean up. They have that independence where they can learn about what they need to do with their classmates as far as cleaning up. They get directions once. They hear directions once. That's something that's very important. Now, with all of that, what can we do at home to make that time, to make that independence and learning that independence something that's important and learned more deeply for them? As parents, we can give them an unhurried warning. You know what it was like when you were little, and when Mom was rushing around and she was getting breakfast and lunch made, and you didn't know what you were going to wear, and you didn't want to wear what she chose, and all of those things. Parents who can give their children an unhurried warning make them ready to come to school to be independent. You can choose clothes the night before. That always helps. You know, preschoolers, by the way, they're going to choose what they want to wear, and that's perfectly okay. So make sure that even though they look ridiculous sometimes, none of us will blame you. We know that wasn't your choice of clothing. Don't worry about it. Let them come in what they've chosen. That helps them learn that independence that they need. Okay? A nutritious breakfast always helps, of course. That you know. Dress for the weather. And when you bring your child to school, you know the kiss and fly out at the airport? Do the same thing. Kiss, goodbye, see you, and leave, please. It helps your child realize that now it's my turn. I'm going to be the one who's going to walk down to the classroom on my own. Big goodbyes with lots and lots of hugs and big kisses only sometimes serve to make departing a lot more difficult. So please try to help keep those children moving along. Bring your child to the library and actively participate with them. There's nothing worse than going to the library and going over to your section and leaving them to their section. Help them choose books that they're going to like, and books that are going to help them with what they need to know. There are books that you need to be able to read to them that really speak to their own experience. This is the most adorable book I've ever seen. It's called No More Diapers for Ducky. Now, I realize that now that your children are 3, you got them out of those diapers in time to send them to preschool. But I know that many of you have younger children too. This is just adorable about learning to go potty. And this is called No Biting, Louise. And once in a while, we still get some problems with that. Use books. Use books to help your child get through some of those difficult times in life. This book, No Biting, Louise, as a reading specialist, it just thrills me that it has words like predicted, instructed, gratefully, smattering, temptation. Those are words that are tough for children. But listen to this. As reading specialists, we've read the research, and the research tells us that children who are read to each day, maybe you've heard this number, 7,500 to 12,000. I've heard many, many numbers in between. They are 7,500 words ahead of children who aren't read to on a regular basis. That means they come to school knowing that many more words and knowing if maybe not the exact definition of those words, but certainly an idea of what those words mean. So please, be sure that you're reading to your children. Right before bed's a great time to do that. Right before their prayers is a great time to do that. As they get older, books like Wow School, this one was a great one for just before the beginning of school this week. This one I really like because the classrooms in here look exactly like the classrooms that they're in right now. I think they would enjoy this book. And then up. True or false? When your child is tardy for school, now have you thought about that? Someday they're going to be tardy. It just happens. Okay? So when your child is tardy for school, you should take your child to the office, sign him in, walk him to his classroom, give him a kiss, open the door, take off his coat, empty his book bag, wave to get the teacher's attention, apologize and let her know why you're late, give your child another kiss, wave to all your child's classmates, and then leave. True or false? Yay! False, false, false. That's absolutely correct. Now, why is that false? What's the problem there? Too much, too much. So where do you stop? Here's what you do. You come in the door, the office door, you sign your child in, you walk him to the classroom, you give him a big kiss, knock on the door and open it, and then let him in and close it. Why? Because he's developing that independence. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He knows about his coat. He knows about his book bag. You don't need to explain to the teacher what happened because you probably already talked to the people in the office about what happened and they can relay the message. Okay? Okay. Finally, if you'll pass that down to the last person, this is about academic growth. Okay, in pre-K, we can teach your children number sets, and we will. We can teach your children math language. We can teach them to sort, to color, and to by color and shape. We can teach them all about sizes. We can use math language, taller, shorter, longer, further. The children can recognize patterns. They can understand concept of print. They learn that words carry messages. They know their letters of the alphabet. Most of them come in singing that song, but believe it or not, they're not all gifted. That's a baseline. That's where they begin. When we read with them, we ask that you make predictions, what will happen next in the story, and confirm those predictions. Now, what can you do at home? We talked about that a little bit, about reading to them. We ask that you sit down at the dinner table and talk to them about what happened at school today. Please sit down and have dinner as a family. Research has shown that that's the largest predictor of how our children are going to do as far as their language and their reading acquisition. Having those conversations at home. And not only that, but it's a great emotional connection for children that you as a parent understand and know what it is that they're learning. Ready? Here we go. True or false? Representatives from the esteemed universities of Harvard, Yale, and Stanford have been known to scout the St. Jame School PreK 3 and PreK 4 classrooms. Yes? True or false? That's correct. It's false. We've never seen them. They've never stopped by. And so, here's the final message. Chill. Chill. PreK 3 and PreK 4 is a wonderful time for your child to grow, develop friendships, become independent, learn a little, and grow in their spiritual journey. So please, allow them, give them that opportunity to do that. I've got one more. We're all going to do the last one. Ready? Here you go. This is a true or false. I know you're ready to go. Here's the final one. True or false? When I have a concern about my child, the best place to get answers to my questions is out in the parking lot with the parking lot moms? False. 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 If you have a concern about your child, you bring it up immediately to your teacher. Don't let it fester. Do not lose sleep over it. Bring it up to the teacher immediately. Little problems are solved quickly. Big problems become rumors on the parking lot, and you don't want to be one of those parents. parents, believe me. So thank you very much for coming.